Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I am your host, DJ Maverick, singer, songwriter, the one and only Lucius ColdStone. Welcome to the podcast.
What's up? Thank you. Pleasure to be here, man.
How's it going?
Here. Good. Everything is awesome. Super awesome. Everything's growing.
Before we dive in, maybe for the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Lucius ColdStone. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. Anything that has to do with creativity as far as music goes, I got my hands on it. Yeah, we were talking about, because I was really impressed with your production. It was like all over the place, and then we were talking about the guitars, and you're like, that's a real guitar, that's me. Like, yeah. Super impressive. Congratulations on all that. Thank you. It just comes from practice. Yeah? Like practice. Okay. I started off on acoustic. I use my acoustic to get the idea down, and then I'll replay it on my keyboard. Okay. So it's just like a whole process I do. So I'll hear it. I'll be jamming around on my acoustic, my little mini travel acoustic. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And then I'll play it. And if I don't like the recording, I'll just replay it in MIDI. Okay. And then put an amp on it and just make it sound crazy. But most of the time, I'm pretty cool with just taking it straight to the recording. Cool. So where did you grow up? Did you like grow up over here in Oklahoma? Man, I'm from a place called Columbus, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia. Yeah, Columbus, Georgia. Okay. Man, it is it's an awesome place. It's growing. It's growing a lot. It's it's south of Atlanta. Okay. You know, maybe southeast of Atlanta. In Atlanta, the music scene is like crazy. Oh, right? Man, like everybody. It's beautiful. Up, right? Yeah. Everybody, man. It's we're just oozing with talent. We're born with it. Yeah, was that like your main influence, like growing up, like just all the Atlanta artists, or what kind of stuff were you into? Man, my biggest influence growing up musically was actually two artists. It was Biggie Smalls and 3 6 Mafia. Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy, right? I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe like Outkast or somebody from Atlanta. I did. You know, I discovered Outkast in college, man. Okay. Yeah, so I never really got into them. They were always cool, but I just never really. You know, I don't know. I just like some hard street rap. Okay, man, when it just comes to it. Yeah, because I mean, Outkast, it kind of reminds me a little bit about you because like they're not afraid to try different genres, different instruments. Like they're all over the place. They're not a traditional like hip hop like act or whatever, right? Agreed. Yeah, man. You know, and that's the beauty of it is that there's so much musical influence down there that you want to branch out. You know, you want to experiment, and I think that's why Atlanta has been such a hub for creativity. Yeah, for sure. Is that it's such a melting pot. But Columbus, on the other hand, I just feel like it's a big military base down there called Fort Benning. Okay. And so it's a lot of military and stuff down there. But Columbus is just it's not as busy as Atlanta, but it's great, man. It's like you get the busyness, but not the craziness. I see. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Growing up, like what were you into? Was it always music or were you into sports or maybe like academics? Like what was it? You know, I don't have an athletic bone in my body. No. I mean, I lift little weights right now, just for age. But, no, man, I always had music. Okay. Always. 7th grade, I started out in the orchestra. Really? I was playing bass, cello, and viola. I didn't say I was good, but that's exposure to music right there, right? Yeah. So I really was keen, and what really got me into music was I just sucked at everything else. All right. Literally, I got cut from every team. Okay. I tried. It just didn't happen. Okay. So were you kind of like an introvert in school, or were you kind of popular? Like, how would you describe yourself? All musicians are introverts. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, most, I don't know who's listening, but I was always introverted. Okay. Always, I was in a weird spot in school. So I was like right underneath the popular kids. Okay. I was known, but not known well enough. I was just known for music, believe it or not. Cool. Yeah. So did you do some performing or something in school or what? I started recording my first album on a Xbox. No way. Yeah. How? Like
Like a video game or something, or what?
No, this is what I would do. So I would burn a CD and I would get some beats and download them off LimeWire. You know, dating myself.
Hey, it's already past the legal precedent, right? We can talk about it. He was downloading, right?
I was stealing beats, man, from LimeWire, and I would burn a CD and I would put it on my Xbox, and I would wait till my mom left the house and I'd crank it all the way up. Okay. And I had this MP3 player that would record audio. And I taped it to a hanger, and I just hung it upside down. Nice. And I would just spit all my raps while the beat was blaring in the background, and I'd be yelling my raps. Okay, and then I was able to use Audacity to make my first album.
Man, and you did the whole album though?
Whole album, dude. It was like 15 songs. It was called Friday the 13th.
You still got it or no?
No, man. I got a buddy back home. He has it, and I know he's holding that thing.
You got to put that out. I want to hear it.
I know what he's doing. He's waiting.
He's waiting for you. Like, all right, I got this like unreleased material.
Yeah, he's gonna eBay it or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, that just talks about like when you want something, it doesn't matter, right? Like what you have, what you don't have. A lot of people like, hey, I want to do this project, but I don't have the gear or whatever. And you're like, hey, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I just always had that do it myself mentality. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just always, I don't know. It's just music has always just been there for me. And there is nothing, even today, there's nothing that can stop me from recording. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I know that you write a lot of your stuff. So even in that first album, did you write everything on the album or what?
Some of it was freestyle and then some of it was written. But yeah, I do write a lot, man. Yeah. I think there's this like whole stigma now about writing lyrics, you know, writing. Well, as far as like rap goes. Yeah,
everybody wants to be Jay-Z, one take, I don't write anything, right?
Yeah, that's overrated, man. Yeah. You know, it's just however it comes to you.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do find this. So if you do it enough, songs just come to you all the time.
All right.
Like literally, they're just there. And so if you do it enough, you can get that no pad, no pen type.
And energy. Walk me through that process. Like, how do you usually start like making a song? Do you get like a beat stuck in your head, or maybe just like a little like melody, or like how does it start?
Man, it's just routine. So sometimes I start off with recently in the past 2 years, I've just been all acoustic. And so I start off with some cowboy chords, maybe like an A minor or a G or something like that. And I'll just hum to it or sing to it. And it's just all emotion, you know? And then sometimes if I want an upbeat song, I start off with the drums. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I got to make people dance. So it's like, I got to start off with the drums.
Cool. I like that. When you laying down drums, do you do that with an instrument or do you do it on like laptop?
I'm a finger drummer, man. So I get in there.
Cool.
You know?
All MIDI.
Yeah, you remember back in the day at the lunch table, man. I was that guy with the
some
pencil.
Of the hardest beats went down on those lunch tables.
You know? Yeah. So, cool. Yeah, I was that guy, man. So I do a lot of finger drums. I don't know how to play the real drums yet.
Yeah. Cool. And I was reading sort of your background. You started with like a little Casio. Is that right or what?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So my sister and my brother, I got a bunch of brothers and sisters. There's in Columbus, there's this club called Hollywood Connection, or it was actually called the Back Door. It was a teen club. Okay, so they would all go out, and I just had to stay at home. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so
you weren't old enough, or what?
I wasn't old enough, man. And it's like being the littlest brother. You just never feel old enough, and then you're never old enough to get into the club. So I was just me and my Casio in that room, and I didn't know I was doing them, but I would just play chords, play with the little drum sequencer, and it's just always been music, man. Yeah.
Along the way, did you ever take any like actual like lessons for guitar or anything, or what?
No, I started lessons like 2 years ago on the acoustic guitar, but man, just the whole lesson thing. Yeah, I don't know. You know,
you don't think it's necessary? It sounds like, huh?
It's necessary to perfect it. Like if you want to, because you want to be the best, you know, and you want to make something that's pleasing to people. But just when you're just starting off, no, it's not necessary. You know. But I don't know. I just always, any structured education, I would always just buck against it. Okay. You know. Cool.
So are you one of those people? I'm always envious of the people that can hear something, a melody, and they just start figuring it out and play it by ear.
I'm growing into that guy. Yeah, I'm spending a lot of time in my room. I'm growing into that guy where I can kind of hear a chord. But no, MIDI has been a big deal for me. I've always been able to, I'm a visual learner, so I have to see what I'm playing. And that's been a big deal for me to be able to keep everything in key and keep everything sounding right. Even singing. You know, if I know what key I'm in, then I can kind of adjust my voice and stay down there.
Do you remember your first sort of performance, or like how did we go from Xbox? We're laying down the first album. How do we go to like performing?
My first performance was always high school. Okay. So it was like the first early morning when they all the kids are outside in the commons area. Yeah, I would just drop a freestyle.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, man. I was just freestyling.
Were you like battle rapping like kids?
Man, I never got into battle rapping, but man, if you got a good beat, I'm gonna rap on it, you know. Okay. And now, growing into that, once I moved up here, I came to the ACM to do music, and so my first performance there was just like the Jazz Lab or something like that in Edmond. Okay. You know, but originally I started off, I was in a band for a little bit, and it was kind of like the Gorillas. It was like,
okay. That makes sense. I mean, like you're kind of interested in all kinds of genres. We were talking about that off camera, how like you've got like some heavy stuff with like guitar riffs, right? And then you've got some more like traditional, like I guess you would call it hip hop. Yeah. And then some stuff is like a combination where it's like spacey, sort of like production, but then the flow reminds me of like a trap flow or something like that. Yeah. You know?
Man, I really started off as a rapper, and then more recently I've kind of changed that. You know, I still love rap. I still listen to rap every day. Yeah. But I kind of grew, and I just want to experiment and expand more because I think about it. I'm playing the long game. A lot of people, a lot of artists, they want it now, and they want to blow up overnight and stuff like that.
And they may just do like what's hot right now, and they put themselves in a box or something like that. Right?
I'm seeing Willie Nelson, man. I'm thinking, you know, I want to be 85 touring, and I don't know if you want to come and see an 85-year-old rapper.
I mean, people go see Willie, right?
Like, there you go. Yeah. So my thing is, when I started thinking like that, that's when I got more serious about my instruments, and I was like, and I got more serious about my singing.
Yeah, that's cool. The cool thing about you is you can actually hold a note, right? Because a lot of rappers want to sing, but then it's like auto-tune. Right?
I try to stay away from the auto-tune as much as I can. And just because, you know, I think as like AI and all technology grows, I think the ability to be real is becoming more rare, and it will allow you to stand out more. So I don't try to put like I'm human, you know. I might correct some notes on my singing, but I sound like how I sound right now on the record, you know.
The AI is going crazy. Did you see the Kanye AI where they just like made a song that sounded like just like Kanye?
That is scary, but it's beautiful at the same time, you know.
But then it's like, do you copyright the voice? Like who owns it? Like there's a lot of laws that are gonna have to happen.
Yeah, you know? Man. I think so. I think eventually artists will start copyrighting their voice. Sure.
Yeah, because man, when they did it, like it was super easy. Like, why even bring the artist? Like they were doing everything. It sounded just like Kanye, and they could just like change the flow. Like it was pretty impressive. And this is just like early, right? Imagine what it's going to be like a few years down the road.
I know. You know what though? I think the beauty of it is it's going to make real art that much more, like stand out that much more. Yeah. You know, because it's a funny joke, but would you like, when you get in the car, are you going to listen to Kanye singing Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan? You're not going to listen to that. You're going to listen to the real song. So it's kind of like a meme culture right now for me. That's how I take it. You know, it's very entertaining though. I'm not down in it at all. You know? If they got a new Tupac record out, I'm gonna play that, man, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. You know, you mentioned a few influences, but then as you sort of were figuring out your voice as an artist, like what direction did you want to go? Because you started with the band, and then did you decide, okay, I'm going to be a soloist? Like what happened there?
Man, the band was such a beautiful thing for me because one, it was like more like a duo. So he's my friend, man. He basically taught me everything about, and he didn't teach me like hands-on. I would just watch. He's like a wizard. Okay. You know, he's just one of those guys. He picks up the guitar and it's magic. Man. You know, he plays the drums and it's, you know, it's Bonham. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? He's just one of those guys. And I was just always looking at him like, how in the hell? Right. And then our band, it peaked out, you know, it peaked out really, really good in a good way. Okay. And we just kind of went our separate ways. And after that, I was like, wow. I was like, I got to learn how to do that. Yeah. So I just stayed in the house.
What was the name of the band?
The band's name was Day One.
Day One.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So after that, though, man, I was just like, I have to become that for myself, and I have to practice. I have to put in the hours and become that wizard for myself.
Yeah. And what was the thought process behind that? Did you just want like no limitations. Whenever something like you wanted to create, you wanted to do that without relying on somebody, or what?
No, you know what? Younger version of myself, man, I was totally fine with relying on people. Yeah. But it was this thing, like I have this addiction and this love for music that it comes before everything. And so I was kind of forced into that. I'm like, well, you know, if I don't have these video cameras and I don't have these producers and I don't have, you know, the support of big name managers anymore,
right? I
was like, that's not going to stop me from making music, and that's not going to stop me from pushing my career. So my love for music literally surpasses everything.
Okay,
that's like awesome. It's an obsession. Like surpasses anything.
That's cool. How did you end up in Oklahoma? How do we go? Like, if I was in Atlanta, I don't know if I would like leave Atlanta.
Yeah,
right?
man. You know what? It's
like a melting culture, all kinds of artists, super creative. Right?
It was crazy. So what happened with me pulling out of Columbus, Georgia was I graduated high school. So crazy story, man. I graduated high school, and my sister, she was like, hey, she's like, do you know what you're gonna do with your life? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just gonna be a rapper. I was like, that's all I know. She was like, okay, that's great. But
she said that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, kind of sarcastically. She was like, there's nothing about you that says you're a rapper. But she was like, if that's what you want to do, she's like, I'm gonna help you. So she's like, hey, there's this music school up here in Oklahoma, and you should check it out.
Okay.
And our high school, man, I was a terrible person in high school, so I kept getting kicked out of these high schools.
How so? What were you?
Man, like, I was just so wild.
Troublemaker, or fights, or what?
Yeah, fighting and just being crazy. You know, just being 16, 17.
Yeah, just normal high school stuff, right?
Yeah, you know, drinking Robitussin whenever, just doing, or, you know, just tripping, man. So, So after that, though, she was like, hey, this is what you should do. She was like, I know you don't want to go to college, but she's like, just come up here for 2 weeks and just
so
take
she was already here, or
yeah,
what?
she was already up here. She was already established and stuff like that. We're from the same place, but she was like, just come up here for a vacation. And I was like, all right. I was like, but I'm not going to school.
Right.
And so she's like, yeah, that's fine, but you just need to get out of your environment. You just graduated. You've been there. You need to see something different. So I got up here, and she was like, hey, she's like, come to my job. So she works at the university. Okay. And she was like, hey, meet these people. And then I met this is a band here called the Flaming Lips, and I met those guys and the manager of their band and stuff like that. And just really infatuated with them. And she was like, can you make some music today? And I was like, yeah, I make music every day. So she got her friend's laptop, and her friend brought her laptop in, and I wrote a song right there, and I applied. And I got accepted into the school
on the spot, right there.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Make a song real quick.
Yeah. So I made a song and turned it in. The next thing I know, I got an acceptance letter. Okay. So 2 weeks later, my mom's like, "You ready to come home?" And I was like, "Nah, I ain't coming back." And so
that's a crazy story.
Yeah, she was pretty pissed, man. My mom was pissed. She's still pissed about that today. Yeah, but
I mean, it's
working.
It seems like it was like sort of one of the better options, right? Like if you were a troublemaker in high school and stuff, you didn't really know what you wanted to do. All of a sudden, it's like, I've got this path. I can be creative. I can do something I love.
Yeah,
right?
It was magical, man. Well, a lot of my family is military. Like a lot of my family joined the Army. And so I was kind of like, me and my sister, we just kind of bucked that curve and was just like, nah.
So that's where they were pushing? Like
yeah. My mom, and she has this saying, everybody should do active duty 3 to 4 years. It should be mandatory in America. So, I grew up like, I was getting in trouble, but I was paying for it at home for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was just like, nah, man, I'm not trying to go into the military. And from there, she was like, you ready to come home? And I was like, nah, I'll never see you again. Bye.
Was there ever a plan B, or were you like all in? This is it?
Man, there still ain't no plan B.
Yeah, I like that.
It's never going to be a plan B. Yeah. Man. No, this is it. If you do something enough, it has to happen.
Right.
If you cut off all sources of retreat, it has to happen.
Yeah. A lot of people, I guess, probably give up on their dreams just because they hear sort of the closest friends or family members say like, hey, that's cool and all, but it's a difficult route, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they're trying to protect you. Maybe they're just like, they have good intentions, but a lot of times they end up killing people's dreams that way, right?
Well, the beauty about having dreams is it's not really about achieving a dream. It's about who you become in pursuit of that dream. And so it's just like, I've always, girls, money, people, anything that I have, it's always came through music. Okay. So any leveled up, like even getting out of Columbus was through music.
That's cool.
So everything, it's just music has funneled everything for me, and it's going to continue to do that on a large scale. So
yeah.
You know, awesome. I've met the people that was like, oh man, you know, be for real.
Yeah.
I was just like,
you always hear that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever says like, oh yeah, you're gonna make it until you make it, and they're like, oh man, I knew you
was gonna do that. I was supporting you.
But along the journey, nobody's ever cheering for you.
No man, way, right? No. You know, you need one. You know, you need about one friend that can hold you down. I got Bird with me, so
okay.
You know, cool. I keep. You just need about one, man. If you see if you have a group, usually the group doesn't last of supporters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just got to have that one friend that kind of is just your anchor the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed to have that.
So what was that experience like, you know, going to school? You got in, and then did you start to enjoy it? Or maybe you got in and you're like, maybe this isn't what I signed up for.
You know, when I got to school, man, it was just it was my first big exposure to rock music. So there was no rap artists at that school. There was maybe one or two. So it wasn't a school for rap. It was a school of rock.
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of joined the band. And it's because I was like, hey, all these kids are like master guitarists, they're master drummers, master producers.
Right.
And some of the teachers there, man, they were working with Rick James and Coldplay and Flaming Lips. And so
that's crazy.
All these big people, but they were none of them was with rap.
Yeah.
And so I was just hell bent on rap, man. And it just woke me up. And that's when I started hearing bands like The National, Prince, all of this rock music, Led Zeppelin, The Who, all of this stuff just started flooding my mind.
Nice.
And so it was a really good experience. I was still a little bit of a wild child doing that, but music, I would get in trouble in college a little bit, and then I just end up steering back to the music.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm putting the puzzle pieces together now that you're mentioning The National, all these bands, and then that's where the guitar influences come in. Right?
Yeah, that's where all of it comes from, man. Everything.
Cool.
So
did you like pick up the guitar in school, or like when did you pick it up?
No, I picked it up right around the time the pandemic happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Just then?
Just then.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I have an addictive personality, man. So when I get on something, I'm on it.
You're all in.
6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got exposed to rock music and all these rock musicians I was around.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely rap just kind of faded for me.
Okay.
And you know, I did the rap thing for a little bit, and I made some cool rap songs, but then afterwards I was just like, nah, man, I need to go this way.
Yeah. I was checking out your catalog on Spotify, and some of the tracks that stood out were like 365, right?
Yeah.
That's like, I guess you could say, a more traditional hip hop or something like that, right?
Got bars on it, man. I was barring them up on that one, man, for sure.
What was one of them? You were like, I don't spit for free. When I speak, there's a fee or something like, what is that? I was like, okay, I mess with that. Okay.
Yeah, man. During that period, that was 2017, man. I was just like rapping every day. Hell songs a day, maybe like 10 songs a day.
But then I ran into tracks like Roses.
Yeah.
And that's like completely like on the other spectrum, right?
Yeah, it's more it's kind of alt country a little bit, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
And then something for the ladies, right? Like, hey, do you ever think about someone else, right? Like talk about all this like romantic, like, right?
The music I've been releasing in 2020, what year is it? It's 2023. Man, I really, really love women a lot.
Same.
Yeah. You know, and the muse about women, every song, man, right? I don't really intend for all my songs to be love songs, and they're not all in my real life. They're just like I hear the music, and that's what belongs on the music. Yeah. But dude, women just keep it, one man, and they just keep you on your toes.
Right. So does the inspiration come from being in love or breakups and heartbreak?
Man, the inspiration comes from being in love.
Being in love?
Yeah, man. Okay. It comes from being in love. And I can hear, I'm a good storyteller. Yeah. And so it's just like, I can hear where the story's going to go and where it should go. And also, so I don't want to go the breakup. I feel like there's so much of that.
Yeah.
There's so much of that. And
yeah, especially in like Latin music, it's all like breakup, let's do some tequila.
Yeah, yeah, you brought tequila out today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm not against breakup music at all, you know, but there's so many different sides of love, and I want to continue to highlight the positive emotions of being in love. Yeah. You know, like the good side of it. Because, you know, like, man, there's no better feeling than being in love. Like if you really think about it, when you got a new girl or you've been with your old girl for a long time, it just, once y'all are in that groove, it's just that upside of love is just where it's at, man.
Right. And whoever you pick to be your partner, it has like the biggest influence in your life, right?
Oh,
like it could be like your biggest like supporter, right? Like it could like push you to be the best version of you, or it could be like the opposite, right? To bring you down, everything crashes.
You know what? Right? A relationship will show you who you actually are. Yeah. It brings out the demons and the good parts of you. Yeah. You know, and for me, I have so many friends and stuff. And I mean, not even just friends, but I could you can be talking about anything and it'll just resonate in my mind, and I'm like, okay, that's a song. Okay. And I'm gonna make a song about it. And I have all these like fictitious women that I write about. Like, I think awesome. Fictitious is the word. Yeah. But yeah. Okay.
Have you ever wrote a song for like anybody that you were sort of like a ex or something like that?
Yeah, man, I did. And, you know, I got a bunch of kids out of that. So I don't do that. All right. So I got a couple of kids off doing that. I don't, you know, so
it's dangerous.
Yeah. I pressed, you know, I was young and I pressed that button really, really hard. And I just, you know, every song was about her. Whole album was about her. Yeah. And, you know, it was worked out pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's cool. So here in Oklahoma, you know, you mentioned Flaming Lips. Are you able to like sort of do some collabs with some of these people that you've met along the way, or what? Man,
back in those times, a lot of people still know me as a rapper. Okay. And so just now recently, I've been getting people to reach out to me as a singer-songwriter, alternative, country, whatever the music is, whatever. Yeah. So now I'm getting more looks for my guitar work and my songwriting ability and performing ability. So back then when I was dealing with them, I was kind of more just in the rap field.
I see.
You know, so now
do you still have a love for rap and hip hop, or you think it's kind of like dwindling a bit, or what?
Man, I try to push it away every day, but I just love it. I love it. I love it so much. Why do you want to push it away though? I mean, man, you know, it's just because it's like I don't know, man. I just try to. I feel like with rap, not all rappers. So there's creative rappers like Kendrick Lamar, and there's so much that you can do within the genre of rap. But as far as like carving a new path in rap music, you know what I mean? That can be, to me, it doesn't seem like a challenge, but I don't think I'm willing to put the work in to do that. Okay. You know, and I want to be able to be known as a musician. Like, you know, with rap. So you think about like, you know, like somebody like Snoop Dogg, man, that's really like really blazed rap. Like you can't get no further than Snoop. You know, Lil Wayne, you can't get no further than that. Yeah. And so there's kind of like, I interpret it as a ceiling. Okay. You know, or where people are willing to accept what a rapper can do, versus somebody like Madonna or somebody like Morgan Wallen or whatever. You know, if you listen to some of this newer country stuff, you'll hear that it has a lot of trap beats in it. Right. So you're able to maneuver creativity. Yeah, I always
hear the 808s on there now, right?
Yeah. So you're able to maneuver, or, you know, you got like Bad Bunny and stuff. Even if you're doing your reggaeton, anything like that, you're able to maneuver creatively, more effectively to the audience in other genres of music. And I like to think about rap fans, they grow up. You know what I mean? Some of the rap you're listening, like I love to listen to 3 6 Mafia when I work out, but you know, in my regular day-to-day life, that ain't gonna serve me too well right now, you know?
You know what's crazy to me is like in rock music, you have like old rock stars, right? Yeah. But you never have like old hip hop stars.
That's true.
What's up with that?
You know? I don't know. I think rap is such a beauty in party mode. Yeah. Like, you know, it's made for partying. It's made for. Now hip hop is different, but like rap, you know, it has its moment.
You think it's just like a young sport where like you can only do it for so long and then you're not cool anymore, or what?
I think in a sense, yeah. And I think that it's not even about age; it's just about attention. Okay. So it's like, how do you continue to hold attention as a rapper? And how do you continue to reinvent yourself?
Okay.
You know, without stepping outside of rap. So a lot of modern rap has a lot more melody into it versus like when we were growing up, it was, you know, DMX, you got to really come. You can't just say you're a rapper. You got to come.
You got to show up.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Every time you got to show up too. And when you put out an album, every 18 track album, every track got to go, you know? And so, you know, I just worried about, I was really focused on like, how far can I go in this and how far creativity will my audience accept from me as a rapper?
Okay.
And so that's what I was really
So what are
conscious
your GOAT rappers? Like, give me like top 5.
GOAT rappers, number 1 of all time is Lil Wayne. Of course, I right now I feel like he don't get the love that he should get, you know.
They need to put some respect on his name,
man,
right?
for real, man.
Forgot,
you know,
right?
there wouldn't be a Young Thug without Lil Wayne. And so my number 1 rapper right now is Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Number 2, just as far as like bars go, would have to be Biggie Smalls.
Okay.
You know, man, dude's just like a lyrical genius.
And storytelling, right? Like, just makes you like view everything with the bars, right? Like, come through the door,
waving
right?
the 4-4.
Right?
Yeah,
like crazy,
right? Papa, don't kill me no more. Yeah.
Super. So, like, you're like, okay, I'm in the room with him.
Yeah, right? you feel him, you know, and it's so vivid. And my 3rd favorite rapper, of course, would be 3 6 Mafia as a group. Okay. So I feel like the way that they complemented each other, like Juicy J, Project Pat, Crunchy Black, and Lord Infamous, just the way, and Gangsta Boo, the chat, just how they were able to make one person out of 5 people. Yeah. So when you heard 3 6 Mafia, everybody had a different flow on one track. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That just kept, and then they even branched out with Lil White, Insane Clown Posse, and all this stuff, man. So that's my 3. My 4th, believe it or not, I can't shake him. It will have to be Kid Cudi.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Kid Cudi groupie, man.
Cool. He's kind of like spacey, like more lyrical,
stoner rap for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So Kid Cudi, just because of how different it was, and when he came out, just the way that he spoke to the kids, and I was one of those kids he spoke to for sure. Okay. And number 5 would, probably be Future.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Future.
I thought that Kendrick was going to make your list for sure.
No, I would have to go, man. Future? Yeah, Future, man, for real, man. Just because the melodies, and then people don't take it as lyrical, but if you hear some of the stuff he's saying, it's like genius, man.
Okay.
You know
all right.
I mean?
Yeah, because some people might say that's more like mumble rap or something. Right?
Well, you just gotta listen. You know, you gotta, and it's so much emotion in it. You know, like you really like I love the music when the music feels like drugs.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to be high. You don't have to indulge in that. The music gets you high.
Okay.
You know, in Future, I feel like he's able to create that. 3 6 Mafia, I feel like they're able to create that. Or Word, and Lil Wayne, I feel like he create that. And Biggie Smalls, he just puts you in that. You know, you feel like you got Timberlands on when you listen to that. Right. So it's just like, it's about being able to put the listener into that mental space that you were in when you were creating.
Okay. Was the chopped and screwed stuff big in Atlanta too, or was that just like a Texas thing?
No, man. I didn't really get into the chopped and screwed. Okay. I steered clear of that. I was not into that.
Because a lot of the 3 6 records, they were always like chopped and screwed.
Man, sometimes this stuff would scare me, man. Yeah. They were like, they 666 Mafia. I was like, man, I go to church too, though.
I know, right?
Like, you know, it's like, you still got a little bit of church in you. So you're like, I don't know, bro. Like when they start slowing the track down and some of the stuff Lord Infamous would say, but you know, I was just like, no.
But you were talking about the music sounding like drugs, chopped and screwed. That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah,
like,
but see, I never did syrup, man. The furthest, I'm sober now, you know, but the furthest I ever went was, you know, where everybody went was just smoking a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
You know, nah, man.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Like so many people like overdose and stuff on that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff scared me, man. I told you I came up in a military home, so that's just, man, you don't want that. Yeah. You don't want mama finding that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
How long did it take before you performed like here in Oklahoma?
Man, it was instant. I was so eager, man. Yeah, literally probably about a month. I would rap, perform anywhere. And I'm like that about my singing and songwriting now. I would perform. Like once I feel like I got the song down or once I feel comfortable enough with my craft, I want to perform 7 nights a week. Like I told you, I never say no.
Really?
If you call me in a week and like, hey, come do another podcast.
You down? All right. I'm going to know.
Yeah, man, for
Someone
sure.
cancels last minute, I'm like, all right, hey, Lucius,
hey, man,
what's up, man?
Yeah, dude, I'll be here. Hey, I'll never turn you down, man.
Okay.
And that's the thing. So as soon as I was able to get on stage, I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Performing is where it's at.
Feeling the crowd is like a whole different thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
Right? Like that high that you get with the crowd like interacting to you live and that call and response sort of thing. It's crazy,
just
right?
It's so different than being in a studio, just because you get to see the effect of your craft.
Yeah.
You know, it's like somebody listening to the podcast, man, and they're like, hey, I loved it when you said this and this and this. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't hear it till after the fact. But in a performance, like you hear the screams, you see the people jumping up and down. Like,
that is pretty fire, man. That's super exciting.
Is that like your favorite, like performing live, or do you enjoy the studio, or what's your favorite?
I like what I get after the show.
Okay.
I like what I get after the show, because when the show's going on, I have to make a conscious effort to not think about me.
Okay.
Like when I perform, I don't think about me at all. Like I get nervous up until the point the music comes on, but then I think about it like this. I'm like, well, these people came out to have a good time. This ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so let me play their music. And
your palms are sweaty.
Yeah, knees weak, arms are heavy. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure, man.
Okay,
no, that's real. Yeah. But the way I cure all that, man, I just think about, man, I want these people to have a good time, you know. And even though we're not as popular yet, you know, I think about it like that. I'm like, I still want to create, like, you know, a memorable moment. Like, damn, man, I went and saw this artist and he sung this song. It was just crazy, and I gotta follow him. So I think
whether it's like 5 people.
Yeah,
500, 5,000, like it doesn't matter.
No, that never matters.
Yeah. Your performance level is always the same.
Well, if you're performing good enough, people come.
Okay.
You know, even whether, I don't care what the promotion is. I don't care if it's 3 people in a crowd. They'll go outside and pull people that are smoking cigarettes in, like, hey, listen to this, listen to this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just about your mindset. If you're delivering to those 3 people, it's gonna turn into 6 before the end of the set, guaranteed.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a lot of ego when people are like, oh, man, you know, I want it to be sold out. No, man, it's just levels to that, man.
Yeah, for sure. What's been sort of your favorite performance? Do you remember? Like, have you had a favorite show?
A favorite show so far? Last year, I did the Electronic Lady Fest, some electronic concert here in Oklahoma.
Like a big festival type of thing?
Yeah, it was like a little festival, man. Okay. Somebody contacted me, a buddy of mine. He's a DJ, and he was like, hey, man. He's like, I was thinking about you. Come do this show with me. And I was like, okay. I was like, but it's EDM. And he's like, yeah, but he's like, I'll remix one of your songs to make it sound EDM.
Okay.
And we were in this like empty, it's Oklahoma, man. So it's like a bull ring or something like that. There's a lot of dirt everywhere.
Really? So it's like in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, it's middle of nowhere, man. It's way out there. Okay. And so when we started, it was like 2 people. When we were done, it was 21.
Wow.
You know, it was a lot of people.
And
man.
you were like, when you got there, you're like, where the heck am I? Like, what am I doing?
I was just
here?
like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, but it turned out, you know, and then cameras came out, and then all these people, and then people just got really into it. And then that's when I started learning. I was like, okay, your performance isn't about you. It's about the listener. It's about people that they came to have a good time, you know? And if you're not a household name yet, that's kind of your job. It's just to provide people with the best experience, you know?
So what about that show makes it the most memorable or your favorite?
The most memorable is just because it was literally zero. It was nobody but security in there. Yeah. It was and then 30 minutes later it was packed. It was about 20 people in there. And that's packed to me because when I started off, I was singing to nobody.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, at the end of it was like, wow.
That's awesome.
You know.
How did you start singing? Like, at what point that you're like, okay, maybe I can sing? Or, you know, I would be a little bit afraid, right? If I was been rapping, then all of a sudden, like,
singing.
How did it start?
Man, I just self-belief.
Yeah.
And a lot of lessons.
So you took lessons?
Yeah, online lessons. I don't know if that counts as real lessons, you know?
Especially in today's day and age with tech, right?
Like, so what I did was I looked people up, and I was like, okay, how do I start singing? And it was like, okay, so I know piano, I know the notes on the piano, and I know chords. So I was like, okay, let me do re fa. So, you know, follow along with the piano. And I was like, okay, this sounds like this. And then afterwards, I never went back to the lessons. I stopped them, and then I just started repetition.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sing every day now.
Okay.
Like a lot. Now I'm not, I guess I'm not. I can't say R. Kelly, but that's the first thing that came to my mind.
You definitely don't want it. Yeah, definitely not R. Kelly.
It's a new day.
Yeah, maybe but like Usher.
Usher, I'm not I'm not R&B level singing, and I also find with alternative music or country music, it's not really about your voice. It's about writing songs that fit your voice. And so I write all my music. And so I can write a song that fits my voice that makes me sound better than I sound.
Okay.
It's the words I say, it's the things like that. So.
Yeah. And right now, I definitely see sort of like your rock influence in your singing, right? But you were telling me that you want to explore country music. Tell me about that.
I do, man.
I
have this infectious thing about country right now, and I don't know what it is. I'm not talking about real country like George Strait. I'm talking about like more modern, but not so pop. I would say it's more Americana, and the reason why.
So like Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, something like that?
Yeah, that stuff, man. Okay. And even Ryan Upchurch, man. Like, I got into that because like we were talking about transitioning from rap.
Yeah.
I started listening to country music, and I was like, damn, do you hear what these people are saying?
Right.
Just their ability. And then even like you like take Latino culture, it's kind of like they cowboys too.
Yeah.
So, and it's if your ability to tell a story, make it rhyme, put a melody on it, make it make sense. Yeah. That's beautiful, and that takes real skill. So I'm about anything that's going to stretch me.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, when I listen to a country song, there's a clear theme. I know exactly what's happening in the story, and I want to do that.
That's cool. So, Pie in the Sky country collab. Who would you want to collab with?
Man, Pie in the Sky country collab. Right now, that's such a good question. Right now,
there's so many good new artists in country.
You know what, man? I feel like the person that I would mold the most with. Now, I don't know any of these people's personal, but I would say Ryan Upchurch, man.
Okay.
For real, just because he raps too, and then he also does the country thing, and he's a pretty decent songwriter, man. Yeah. Okay. Not pretty decent. It's crafty. It's good, and it's real. So, and then now, being African American and wanting to go to country, that I kind of got my eye on that too. I'm like, okay, I don't know how that's gonna work, cause like let's see. I might not pull up in Nashville directly right now, but I need to figure that out.
I mean, people have laid the way, right? Like, who's the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish?
Man, what's his name?
Rucker, right?
Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been done, right?
Like, it's been done. Yeah. But then there's this once people see you as that, is that all they're gonna think you are? True. You know what I'm saying? True. And then I'm grateful that I was able to put out rap first, because that way you can't be like, oh man, this guy's whitewashed. I'm like, nah.
Right. Listen to my catalog.
Yeah. Check the catalog, man. Yeah. I was really out here. So but
what about Kane Brown? What do you think about Kane Brown?
Man, Kane Brown, it's more like that's more the pop country. I wouldn't mind it. Like I said, I never say no. Poppy. Yeah, man, I can't just go 100% pop like that. I think some of my songs are pop, but I just haven't studied it enough. I haven't listened to him enough to develop a firm opinion.
Okay.
Of course, I got on they call it the Amazon Boot Cowboys. So it's like I got on this Zach Bryan thing, man, where I was just like, I heard it and I was like, man, okay, cool. And I just it's not the music itself; it's the ability to put a story together like that.
Right.
And so that definitely turns me on, man, creatively.
I bet if you listen to old school, you may have already, right? Yeah. Like some like Merle Haggard or Johnny Cash or something.
No, I did.
Like storytelling, like those dudes. Like,
I did go through the classic Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. I did listen to about 2 of his songs. Okay. And that was, man, it's just crazy, man. Yeah. Like the melodies.
I mean, they're like kind of like the gangster country guys.
Yeah,
like, right?
yeah. It's outlaws, man. Those guys are breaking the mold. And it's just beautiful to see another culture, man. I get bored. You know what I'm saying? I get bored really, really easy. And I also like, there's an artist I'm really into right now. It's Maggie Rogers. So, of course, I heard her from the Dawn's thing, but then I went to her catalog. Yeah. And that's something that's really beautiful. Like, it's not country. It's not folk. It's not pop. It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And that interests me a lot.
Cool. So do you already have some songs that you've written with country in mind, or you're still kind of trying to get in that space?
Man, TikTok is a beautiful thing, man. I've been writing with people in Nashville via TikTok.
No way.
No, seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Man, just getting a message, random message. I get like 4 messages a week from the songs that I'm putting out now.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, jump on this song. I work out in Nashville.
Wow.
And like I said, I never say no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they send it. I send it back same day, same night, whenever.
So you already got stuff that you've laid down?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're already in it. Like I was thinking that you were kind of like exploring, toying with the idea, but you're already in it.
I'm already in it, man. Okay. I played some for my buddy on the way up here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when can we expect some of that stuff to be released?
Man, you know, I've been putting out a lot of music, so it'll definitely be soon.
Yeah.
Definitely be soon, man. Sometime this year, you know, and I want to be able to perform it too. So I've been learning a little bit of dobro, like trying to.
Yeah. You might have to like come up with the band all of a sudden, right?
You know what? I've been planning that. So the way I can program MIDI, you know what I mean? And when you get in a band, it gets tricky. Right. Because you get a lot of egos. Yeah. And then people want their money. Yep. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, how
and then you got to practice, right? Logistics of moving everybody around, hotels, everything.
Yeah, right? Man. So I always think about, okay, how am I going to maneuver that? So one of my favorite artists right now is Ed Sheeran. And I was able to see, I was like, okay,
it's crazy what he does live,
by himself, man, you know? And so the looper pedal, there's so many ways, and also just programming the drums. I think I'm going to go that route. And that's going to allow me to not have to depend on a band.
Okay.
You know.
And then you keep 100%.
Oh, yeah. That's right? That's the, you know, he caught me right there. Right? Yeah. When you get that show money, man, it's, you know, even at this level, it's a beautiful thing, man, because you're like, wow, I just got paid to sing. I just got paid to rap, whatever.
Have you been to like Nashville or maybe like South by or anything?
Man, I have a crazy South by story. It's around like 2015, 16. I played South by Southwest twice. Okay. And man, one year, Lil Wayne was down there, I think. So I guess it was 2013. Lil Wayne was down there, and then like Prince was down. It was crazy stuff. And then I was playing a show with my band, and Bushwick Bill from the Ghetto Boys came and watched us perform.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
So it was pretty cool. That's South by Southwest. I definitely want to do that again.
Yeah, because you never know like who's watching you.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right?
People just stumble in, man. In and out. It's just a beautiful thing, man.
What about Nashville?
Man, I would love to go to Nashville. You know, I would love to. I want to keep working on developing an audience and then kind of see where they are. And I want to make my way out there. So the beautiful thing is like with Spotify, you got analytics or even YouTube. Even at the level I'm at now, I'm still able to look and say, okay, you know, people are I get a lot of streams in New York. Okay. And so it's like, okay, let's see, you know.
Yeah. I was reading where I think it was Russ that was looking at his analytics, and he plans his tour based on the analytics. So he can say like, hey, there's a lot of people in this random town, right? And I'm going to go there and tour because I know I've got an audience there, right? It's crazy what we can do with all the analytics.
It is, man. And you know, I listen to a lot of Russ too. I should put him in my top 5, man. Yeah, dude.
I mean, he's always like independent. You got to do it your own. Like he's always preaching that.
That guy's information, man, has changed my life. Yeah. And because it's like there's a lot of anti-Russ on the internet, you know, sometimes. Yeah. But it's true, man. Like putting out the song a week and just being consistent with your audience, posting daily, talking to people. Yep. You know, word gets out, and there's no other substitute for hard work. So it works, man.
I feel like I bring up Russ all the time, right, on the podcast. But if you really listen to what he's saying, he's laying down the groundwork, right?
It's real.
About being independent, you know, keeping your royalties. You can do it on your own. Don't spend the money on a chain. Invest it back in your studio or whatever, right?
Yep. Buy your house first.
Right.
You know? So that's, man, I wish that was out 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Or 5 years ago, but I mean, I guess it was. But yeah, man, that information, it's real. It works. Everything that guy's saying, I think is 100% true.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah, so I think you're headed in the right direction. Do you think you always want to stay independent, or do you think if the right deal is presented, you might go record label?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I would go to a record label. Yeah. But now I have another mentor. His name is he's not as popular as Russ, but he's making waves. His name is Manifest, and he was able. He taught me so much. He showed me that like record deals are not necessarily bad. It's just about having leverage. So if you already done the work, and there's so much information out now, like if you've already done the work, you have the audience, you're doing the shows, you're doing what you need to do. You're not looking for a record label to carry you,
right?
And you've already proven yourself to be successful. A record deal is not a bad thing. You know, nowadays, with a bunch of people, it's like a record deal is like a cuss word, but that's if you're coming in with no leverage. You don't have an audience. You need the record label to do more work, and honestly, if you're not as popular, they're probably not going to do as much work as you need them to do. So if you've done the groundwork and you've put in the work, from my understanding, then a record deal shouldn't be a bad thing. It's just another way to increase your exposure.
Yeah, and I guess just read the fine print. Don't get into a 360 or something like that where they're keeping all your merch and keeping everything.
And you know what? A 360 might not be bad for you. It just depends on the time. You know, if you do that for 1 year, so if you already have an audience and you're already making money, and you say, hey man, I'm gonna go to Republic, right? I'm gonna go to Republic for a year. It's a crappy deal.
Yeah.
But I have my catalog. I'm already making money from my catalog. I already have an audience. So the purpose of a record deal is to bring your business up a little bit higher. You know, so if you're recording music under a record deal for like a year and you partner with them on that music, then they can make money off that music, but you already got music and you're gonna make more music. So
yeah. So for the people out there, maybe there's somebody listening that they want to follow in your footsteps. What would be some of the recommendations that you would give them?
Man, read.
Okay.
Read. I'm an avid reader.
Okay.
I read like crazy. Even
just about what? Everything or
self-belief.
Self-belief.
Self-belief. Okay. So the key to all this stuff is self-belief. Like like you were asking me earlier, you said, man, how did you go from rapping to singing? I literally have to believe in myself. Like I have to think. It was nerve-wracking putting out those first few songs because I was like, how are people going to perceive this? Then I was like, nobody's watching yet. Who cares? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so
that reminds me. So an important thing that we were about to record and you're like, hey, a crazy thing about me is I delete all my social media. Right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I post and then I delete it. Right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Like, is that kind of like just because you don't want to hear
Man,
the nonsense?
I believe in the subconscious mind a lot. Yeah. And I think like, dude, it's hypnotic. You know what I'm saying? And then 2, people say crazy stuff on the internet, man. So, you know, sometimes it's really good. I don't get negative stuff on
Never? Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But man, nah, I don't like to browse it because like if somebody's like, hey man, I really, really love that song. You know, I really, really love that song. It could go to my head. Yeah. You know, I'm like, okay, I got to make another one.
Yeah. And you got to think the people that are being so negative, they hate their life so much that they got to take time out of their life just to give you a random negative comment.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I've had the negative comment on a video or something like that, you know, and I was just like, come on, man. It's usually from a weird spam account. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like somebody like, dude, come on, put your face up there. Or put your address up there. Yeah, because you always click,
it's always like an empty profile.
Yeah, no or post, blocked, it's private, you know. Yeah. So they're having a bad day and they just want to spew some hate on the internet. You know what I mean? I don't pay that any attention. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to stop me from creating. I don't care what you say. You could say you hate it. You could put out, I'm gonna go write another song. So by the time you're judging me on this song, I've already written the next 10 songs.
Right. So I'm gonna copyright it right here. The Lucius method is post and ghost.
Yeah, post and ghost, man. I post and I don't check it till the next day. Okay. And even if I do check it, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what it does. I don't think about that. Like I can't watch that.
Yeah. Like, so another thing, I know that you're a big believer of routines.
Yeah, right? Huge.
Tell me about that.
Huge. I stick to my daily routine. I don't break it for nobody.
What's like a typical routine?
Routine is I get up around 5 a.m. I write a song. I go work out for about an hour and a half. Then after that, I come back and I write. And then I practice guitar for about 3 hours. Okay. And then I make some like relaxation music just for myself, like some ambient stuff I do for myself. And then I make content, and then that's it.
That's cool. Yeah. That's like not the typical musician life, right? Like you always hear about musicians stay up all night and then sleep until like half the day or something. Man. No real schedule, no real like, you know.
I did that before, man. It's hard to track your productivity that way.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and especially you're also, as a musician, you're a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you look at, you know, CEOs, man, Richard Branson, Alex Hormozy, all these guys. Man, those guys are going to bed, man.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm in the music industry, so I got to stay up till 4 a.m. But there is no, the circadian rhythm is for you to, that's a belief. If you're saying, oh, I'm more creative at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, if you believe you are, man. But I write a hot song, man, at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 in the afternoon. It don't matter.
That's cool.
You know?
Yeah. I like that. So you kind of flipped it. You're able to be more productive that way.
You need sleep, man.
Yeah,
like one of my favorite rappers is Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah.
And Lil Wayne, you know, we all love like this. We love the syrup, we love the weed, and the like. I don't sleep 24, you know, 2 or 3 days. He goes 2 or 3 days. But now
so
look at
crazy.
You can look now, like what happens to you. After.
And he's had some close calls where he's like, you know, gotten like hospitalized and stuff. It's
man. So, you know, as a musician, you got to be smart about that. Like health, health is wealth. You know, we all want to be rich and we all want to make money, but it's like your first money is your health, man. So I prioritize that.
Yeah.
I get my sleep, man.
Cool. So for the people out there that want to follow your stuff, like go ahead, plug in your social. Where can they find everything?
Lucius ColdStone on TikTok. Lucius ColdStone or Lucius 444. YouTube Lucius ColdStone. ColdStone like the ice cream.
Yeah. Okay. Is that where that comes from? Or
yeah. That's where it comes from, man. I love ColdStone ice cream, man. I was just back in college days, man. I would just eat it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts. Of, you know, and they put it, they put it on the slab, man. Like that little marble slab, and then they flip it over and press it down.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's good.
Now I want ice cream.
Yeah, man. So it's just Lucius ColdStone anywhere. You know, Google it, LuciusColdStone.com. Also on Instagram, it's Lucius ColdStone.
Cool.
And that's where you can find me.
Are you about to drop any project or anything?
I'm putting out a new song tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, I put out a new song. I put out another song. The song tomorrow, it's going to be called All I Need.
Okay.
And it's another love story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
All right. So we are running out of time. We're definitely going to have to come you back. And especially you said you never say no. So.
No, I never say no, man. Next time you see me, I'll bring my guitar in and we're going to do some live performances in studio.
Yeah. So before we sign off, I always ask the guests to tell me something about them that most people don't know about them. So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
I'm a vegan.
Vegan. Okay. How'd you get into that?
Man, I was on a fast. I was on a Daniel fast when I was like 15. And I didn't like eating meat after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you found that you sort of like your metabolism and your
I just feel
energy,
great.
You just feel better that way?
I feel good. Well, I guess some people are going to be pissed off. They're like, how you eat ice cream? You're a vegan. But I mean, I don't hate on the cows. I don't eat the cow, but I'm going to eat what comes from. I guess I'm a vegetarian, you know. But no, man. Yeah, that's something that people don't know about me.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I mean,
thank you, Louis. Thanks for having me.
Awesome conversation, and I really digged your catalog, and especially how creative. I mean, you're like a chameleon, like everywhere, right? Like all the different genres, all the different styles. Like,
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The super talented Lucius ColdStone on the Maverick Podcast. Keep grinding because in dreams we trust.
Awesome.